Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the SWAS College Football Week 10. Got 2 games on the board for Wednesday night. Some midweek Conference USA games. What could possibly go wrong? Midweek Conference USA. Let's do it. I mean, is Cooper Rush worth 2.5 points? I would hope Quinn Ewers put up a decent stat line against Arizona State. If he didn't, we have a real problem.
You can say the same thing about Creighton. Okay, they had the one good game against Kansas at home.
When Toast talks about the kicking market, it's like some earth is flat shit. Andy, true or false, this is going to be a dog walking.
Dog walking. This is my dog walking of the day. I think it's going to be very ugly. Dog walking. I think this is going to be ugly.
Hey, get the sauce. Jacksonville State, Middle Tennessee. Jacksonville State coming off a huge win against Delaware, as I'm sure you guys know. I was big on Delaware in that game. 38-25 was the final score. What a roller coaster, because just the week before that, they almost lose outright to Sam Houston State, who is probably one of the worst teams in the entire country. It hasn't always looked pretty, but somehow Jacksonville State sitting at 3-0 in conference. They're matched up against a Middle Tennessee team that's in the exact opposite situation. They're coming off 3 straight conference losses. They're 0-3 in conference. I gotta say, though, Middle Tennessee State is not playing that terribly. I mean, all 3 of these games were one-score games, and Middle Tennessee actually outgained their opponents in all 3. They outgained their opponents in all 3 of these games. I mean, Missouri State, they lost on a last-second field goal. Against Delaware, they were in it till the very end. So, I mean, Middle Tennessee, clearly not a great football team. They're not playing nearly as bad as perceived. They are competitive in these games. When it comes to Jacksonville State's offense, I mean, obviously we should probably mention that the quarterback's dealing with an elbow injury. Caden Creel was injured late in the Delaware game. I'm reading he's trending towards playing. I mean, Jacksonville State's offense, it's a run-first offense all the way. I suppose the passing numbers look slightly better with Caden Creel at quarterback versus Gavin Wimsatt. And I think the offense as a whole did look a little bit better with Caden Creel in there. I'm assuming that's why he's now the quarterback. But regardless, whether it's Caden Creel or Gavin Wimsatt at quarterback, this is still a run-first offense all the way. This is an offense that needs to run the ball. And the reason that's significant is the strength of Middle Tennessee's team so far this year on paper has been defending the run. They're 44th in success rate, 34th in PPA per play. Now, they haven't seen a ton of dominant rushing attacks. In fact, you can make the argument they really haven't seen any. I'll pull it up in a second. But let's give Middle Tennessee State some credit. I mean, they played a solid defensive game last week on the road at Delaware, an offense we all know is good. They held Delaware to 4.5 yards per play. Yeah, they scored 31 points, but the defense was not getting pieced up like that. This Middle Tennessee State defense, especially against the run, it's really not that bad. Now, like I said before, you take a look at their defensive game logs. Have they seen a physical run game like Jacksonville State? You'd have to say no. I mean, Kennesaw State runs the ball, but it's not quite like Jacksonville State. They're more of a fast-paced, run-and-gun type of offense. Marshall runs the ball, but, I mean, they haven't been very efficient running the ball. Actually, most of Marshall's success has come from the quarterback. No one saw that coming. So they haven't seen a run game that's comparable to Jacksonville State. So I would imagine, even though Middle Tennessee State does have some solid numbers against the run, Jacksonville State will probably still be able to run the ball in this game. I mean, their running back leads the entire country in rushing. Now, on the other side of the ball, we know Middle Tennessee is going to throw the ball because that's what Middle Tennessee does with Vadiato, who's been the quarterback there for like 11 years. They're not particularly great at it. It is coming around a little bit. They're 71st in success rate per dropback, 115th in PPA per dropback. Jacksonville State's defense really hasn't looked good, though. Yes, they're 3-0 in conference, but if you look at their defensive numbers from those 3 games, I mean, they're allowing over 6.6 yards per play. 43.9% success rate isn't terrible, but they're allowing over 25 points per game. So even though Jacksonville State has found a way to win their 3 conference games, it's certainly not because the defense is making a ton of stops. They're winning the turnover battle 5-1 in these 3 games. And if you look at Middle Tennessee's offensive numbers from their 3 conference games, they found ways to lose all 3 of these games, but the offensive numbers don't look that bad. 5.5 yards per play, success rate over 46%. This Middle Tennessee offense has been able to sustain some drives. So I definitely think they can move the ball on Jacksonville State. And this Middle Tennessee State team, I got to say, as a whole, I feel like they're undervalued. If you take a look at their last 6 games, they beat Nevada outright. Nevada's a terrible team. Against Marshall, they lost 42-28. They were winning 28-20 in the 4th quarter. Against Kennesaw State, they lose by 1 score. I mean, looking back now, 24 holding Kennesaw State on the road to 24 points, that offense looks like a wagon. Week 7, they played Missouri State. They lost on the last-second field goal. Week 9, they go on the road to Delaware. They a one-score game that comes down to the wire. So this Middle Tennessee State team, it's not good. I don't think it's nearly as bad as perceived, and I think they can move the ball on Jacksonville State. I really want to bet the Blue Raiders in this one. If you timed it right, you could have got Middle Tennessee State +7. It was at 7 at one point. It's down to 5.5 now, so all those got bought up. The +6.5s got bought up as well. So a 5.5. I don't know. I didn't bet the game. Obviously, I wish I could go back in time and grab a +7. I really think Middle Tennessee State can play this team down to the wire. It's going to be tough. Can the defense get off the field? You know Jacksonville State's going to run the ball. But if Wimsit's playing quarterback instead of Creel, Jacksonville State's offense does seem to look better with Creel. So if they have the other quarterback in, yeah, I think Middle Tennessee plays them down to the last possession. So, yeah, give me Middle Tennessee State plus the points. What is it at 5.5 now? Yeah, I can't actually bet it. I can't bet the Blue Raiders. But and also they're 1-6. You have to start having the conversation of, is Derek Mason going to be fired at the end of this year? I think most people would say probably. Are they going to quit on him? I mean, they didn't quit on him last week. They played down to the wire on the road at UDEL. So there's that conversation. Is their season over? So Middle Tennessee State plus the points, but I don't actually have the backbone to bet it. FIU is on the road against Missouri State. This FIU team, man, what a roller coaster ride. The defense. So week 6, they go on the road against UConn. They got absolutely smoked. 51-10. In the game. The defense couldn't stop a damn thing in that game. Then week 8, they go on the road to play Western Kentucky, who's one of the best offenses in the conference, home to 6 points. They played lights out defensively. Then they follow that up by coming back home and getting cooked by Kennesaw State. Kind of tough to get a feel for this FIU team. The data points are everywhere. And to add to the inconsistency here, coming into the season, I think most people would say this FIU offense was centered around their quarterback, Keon Jenkins. This is going to be a passing offense. Well, out of nowhere, they have a superstar running back emerging, Keyshawn Owens. In his last 2 games, 42 carries, 361 yards. So this FIU offense, definitely a lot more balanced than at least I was expecting. He's actually one of the nation's leading rushers right now, coming off back-to-back monster games. And this FIU team, their season is definitely not over at all. They need to win 3 of their last 5 games to play in a bowl game, and there's plenty of winnable games left on this schedule. This particular one on the road at Missouri State, this is actually one of their tougher remaining games. Missouri State's been playing pretty well. They went on the road to play Middle Tennessee State with a backup quarterback. They kicked the field goal to win it. So they pick up the road conference game despite having the backup quarterback. Then last week, their quarterback, Jacob Clark, comes back against New Mexico State, and that's an overtime win, 24-17. Back-to-back road conference wins for this Missouri State team. Now, when it comes to their matchup against FIU's offense, I personally think FIU can move the ball in this game. Missouri State hasn't been anything spectacular defensively. Their season-long numbers are kind of tough because they played some insane games. They played USC and SMU. They played some insane games early in the season that might be skewing these numbers. But this FIU offense is pretty balanced, like I said. Now, the health of Keon Jenkins needs to be mentioned. He's listed as questionable. So obviously, if FIU is a backup quarterback out there, that's notable. And on top of that, both their tight ends, tight end 1, I believe, is Dallas Payne, and their tight end 2 is Braden Staton. They're both listed as questionable as well. So they might be missing both of their tight ends, and their right tackle, Daniel McKell, also listed as questionable. So some injury concerns on the FIU offense. Still, I don't think this Missouri State defense is particularly great. I know they played back-to-back solid defensive games. It's against Middle Tennessee State, New Mexico State. Not exactly offenses that jump off the page. They've also played 3 consecutive games against pass-first offenses, Middle Tennessee State, New Mexico State, and Western Kentucky. All 3 are offenses that are heavily reliant on throwing the football. FIU, with the emergence of Keyshawn Owens running the ball, a lot more balanced. So I think FIU is going to be able to move the ball in Missouri State in this game, barring some of those guys play. They can't be missing all of those pieces. Injuries are a concern here. Also, this FIU team has been pretty dominant in terms of time of possession so far this year. So the way Keyshawn Owens is running the ball, you would think Missouri State needs to commit to taking that away. Should open up opportunities for Keon Jenkins to make some throws, who's been playing pretty efficient football, by the way. Over a 121 NFL passer rating in his last 2 games when given a clean pocket. So if Missouri State has to commit to taking away Keon Jenkins to be able to make some throws. Now, on the other side of the ball, we know Missouri State is going to throw the ball because that's what Missouri State does. They're a pass-first offense, and especially now that their quarterback, Jacob Clark, is back from injury, we know that this is going to be an offense that's throwing the football. On the season, FIU does have really strong numbers against the pass. 48th in success rate per dropback, 68th in PPA per dropback. Jacob Clark returned last week on the road against New Mexico State. He threw for 268 yards and 3 touchdowns. In terms of the efficiency, though, wasn't his best game ever. He wasn't very efficient throwing the ball. As far as FIU's defense, I have no idea, and this is why, listen to this. So this is why I just can't place a bet on this game. This FIU defense, look at these 4 games. Against Penn State, FAU, they can throw the ball with Kitley and Velkamp. Delaware, we know Delaware can throw the ball, and Western Kentucky can definitely throw the ball. So these 4 games against 4 offenses that can throw the ball, they held them to 6.13 yards per pass attempt, under 38% success rate per dropback. They played great defense against the pass in these 4 games. But their other 2 FBS games, they got absolutely roasted through the air against UConn and Kennesaw State. Over 330 passing yards allowed per game, 13.9 yards per pass attempt. So these data points are just so crazy when it comes to FIU's defense against the pass. They've played great defense against good passing offenses several times this year. They've also gotten completely smoked in a couple games. The one thing you do have to give to FIU when it comes to their defense against the pass, their defense against opposing quarterbacks, this team is definitely battle tested. Look at this schedule. Penn State, FAU, Delaware, UConn's got a good quarterback there in Fagnano, a good passing attack. Western Kentucky, always one of the best passing attacks in the conference. Kennesaw State, an emerging explosive offense. So in terms of the FIU defense, you do have to give them some credit. They're definitely battle-tested. In fact, Missouri State, with Jacob Clark, they can move the ball, but they actually might be a step down in competition in terms of the rest of FIU's opponents this year. So I think FIU could play a good defensive game, but I'm not overly confident because this Missouri State team is definitely strong. There's a +4 available. I'd lean FIU at +4, but there's no way I'm betting this game. Some of these data points are just too wild. So give me FIU +4. Quick disclaimer I wanted to insert here, and it still amazes me that this needs to be said, but got a very, very upset DM about Texas State being down 14-0. Guys, these videos of me sharing stats and going through, sharing my notes on the game, and then at the end, I share what I am personally doing. You make your own decisions. By no means am I saying to it's crazy. I don't know where these people come from, honestly. I did not bet either of these games personally. So if you watch this video and you choose to bet one of these, that's a choice you're making. Wow. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. Make sure you bet responsibly. Live shows at midnight Eastern time as always. Talk to you guys tomorrow.